Welcome to episode 24 of the Nintendo Newscast. This week's guest is Chris Stuckmann. Introducing your hosts, Ricky Berg and Amiibo Jason.
Good evening, Nintendo fans. How the heck is it going? It's good to be back. It's been a few weeks, but it's great to be back. I am one of your hosts, Amiibo Jason, back with episode 24 of the Nintendo Newscast. And again, it's great to be back because we have a lot of Amiibo stuff to cover. And in order to cover all of this information, we have to bring on two people. One person you know very well, that is the one, the only, Ricky Berg from NintendoWire.com.
Hey,
Ricky,
everybody.
how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you, Jason?
I'm doing well. It's okay. I'm going to be completely honest off the bat. I have a sack of cough drops.
Ooh.
I have hot tea and water. I have lost my voice this weekend. I'm just getting over a cold, but I'm going to power through this the best I can. So if you hear me mute things and like start coughing uncontrollably, that's why.
Well,
That's why.
that dedication goes a long way, and that's what we're here for.
Well, thank you. And it's good to have you. But
Why, thank you.
again, there's so much stuff to cover. We need at least one more person. And that is the one, the only, Mr. Chris Stuckmann. You know him from his YouTube movie review channel, Chris Stuckmann.
Hey,
I
guys.
am a bit starstruck with Chris
No.
here. Yes, I am. I truly am. One of my all-time favorite YouTubers, one of my all-time favorite video personalities ever, and the best darn movie reviewer of all time.
Oh,
In my
God.
humble opinion. In my humble opinion.
I'm dying right now.
Oh, don't be dying.
We have so much to cover. We can't have you dying.
Oh, thank you so much. That's very nice of you. I've been a Nintendo fan my whole life. I've been very dedicated to Nintendo, if you can't tell by my background. I like all systems and all things, but Nintendo just kind of holds a special place in my heart, you know?
And that's one of the reasons why I asked you to be on the show. I stumbled across a video of yours. I was making a 3-year Amiibo anniversary video about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I stumbled upon your Amiibo video that I have somehow not seen. And you showed off your entire collection. And it almost put mine to shame. I mean, you have this amazing cabinet of Amiibo. And behind you, you have one of the most beautiful N64 collections I've ever seen. So
Thanks.
I thought you have to be on this program. I mean, you are a perfect voice for Nintendo.
I like it a lot, and it's kind of a problem because like recently, my wife has gotten really into Zelda Breath of the Wild, and I love that game. And she got so into it that she wants to try to 100% it. And so in so doing, she is like, "Hey, can I get the Amiibos? Can we get the Amiibo?" And I'm like, "Well, I have them, but I don't want to open them. They're." And so now we have this problem where like I have to buy 2 now because she wants to play with them and I want to collect them. So it's like, it's just a horrible pit of, it's a dark pit that's going to descend in my bank account for a long time.
See, that's a problem I'd say half of the Amiibo community has. I've been buying 2 since 2014. But again, it really eats into my funds. So,
yeah.
But I've been doing it for so long. I need to have one out of the box, one in the box. And at least at this point, it seems like things are kind of calming down. So I can at least save some money for the next big round that's going to come out, hopefully. But before we go too far into our Amiibo coverage, I'm curious, what is your personal journey with Nintendo? What got you into not just Amiibo collecting, but Nintendo as a whole?
It started because when I was really little, I was really into basketball. My original dream was to be an NBA basketball player. And my parents finally got me a basketball hoop and in my driveway when I was a kid in like the 90s. And that was a big thing for me. And because of financial reasons, only 2 or 3 months later, we had to move to an apartment. And we weren't allowed to take the basketball hoop to the apartment because they didn't have any room for it. And
sure.
So as a sort of like forgiveness, we're sorry for doing this to you gift, they gave me a Nintendo 64. And I wanted Star Fox because I had played it a lot at those Blockbuster kiosks. And it was one of those like demo games that all the Blockbusters had, and I asked for Star Fox. And so that was the first system I ever had, and that was the first game I ever played, which is why I have Star Fox like right on my bicep. And from there on in, it was just like this thing that just kind of like meant something to me. I felt like I experienced fun adventures with these characters, and I was very unpopular in school, so it was sort of like an outlet for me to be able to express my rage as well. So I don't know, it's helped me in a lot of ways.
Ricky, what about you?
Yes.
I've never heard your story.
You've never heard my
Nintendo
story.
You never told me.
Oh,
this has to be something I have to hear.
Well,
Mine's
gather
boring,
round.
so.
Well, okay, so probably what started was my brother was really into roller hockey, and so I would go, and then there was another family kind of friends there, and so the two older brothers were playing hockey, and then the younger ones, that one of those being myself, we were just hanging out, and he showed me this magical invention called a Game Boy, and I took a chance on it, and I was playing around, and there's a little game in there called Kirby's Dream Land 2, and so give it a little bit of time. Christmas time rolls around just like it is right now, and managed to get one of those, a copy of Kirby's Dream Land 2 and Pokemon Red. And the rest is history.
Good call on Red, by the way.
Oh, yeah, no, got to get that Charizard. It's definitely because of Kirby, though, right there. And then just like Chris ended up getting the N64, got it with Star Fox. And but then I think where it really kicked off was Banjo-Kazooie. That's got to be one of my favorite N64 games and games of all time.
I feel old because I started on the NES. So,
yeah.
Again, I love N64, don't get me wrong, but everything started for me on the NES, like from a super young age. But I'm not going to get into that very long, boring story because I swear nobody wants to hear it anyway. Let's jump into Amiibo. Amiibo saw some insane releases in October and November. Some of the best releases I've seen all year in the form of many of the ones I have on my desk right now. We have the Wedding Amiibo. We have the Champions Amiibo. So many amazing Amiibo, but now we're kind of stuck in this place. And I like to call it the Amiibo drought. And we've done this before, but not this bad. I feel like this is the worst it's been since Amiibo were announced back in 2014. So I suppose at this point, as Amiibo collectors, I know all three of us are. I know Chris and I might be the sick kind of Amiibo collectors that we base maybe our entire week on hunting these things down. But again, Ricky, I know you collect them, but not to that degree. But we have seen some really, really amazing Amiibo releases since the last time we did a newscast. So let's touch on those real quick. And that's in the form of the Wedding Amiibo and the Champions Amiibo. So as far as the Wedding Amiibo goes, Chris, have you picked these up yet?
Yeah, the word sick is totally apt. That's a perfect word. I have a point of contact at Toys R Us who knows me, who specifically is like, "Hey man, I know we got an Amiibo coming out. I'm going to put it behind the counter for you." And I was like, "Oh, you're the best."
Everybody needs that contact.
Oh yeah.
He helped me a lot with the Mega Yarn Yoshi, that giant thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did get the Champions. I got those. As I said, my wife wants them and I want them. She likes to play with them. So I don't know about you, but I like to actually inspect the package before I buy it.
You need to.
Yeah, because sometimes they're crushed or they have dings. But my wife, she's just going to open them. So we pre-ordered hers on Amazon, and we got those a few days after the release. And I went to Toys R Us, and I scoured the shelves. And, like some idiots, I'm there, folding them around, looking for nicks. And is there a dust particle on this one? And then I want to go home and just kind of like jump off a bridge because that's what my life has become. So thanks, Nintendo.
So as an inbox collector, I'm assuming, would you buy variations of the same Amiibo? For instance, you have Toon Link and Toon Zelda that came in the 2-pack, and now there's a single pack.
Now I'm not quite there. Like I have the 2-pack, I don't have the single pack, but I bought the 3 Mario wedding ones, singular, because I saw the singular ones and I was like, all right, that's what I want. And then when I was out on Black Friday with a friend of mine, we were both sort of just like in that fun Black Friday mood, like where you see stuff and you buy them, and you probably shouldn't do that, but you do it anyway. And I saw the 3-pack of them and I went, oh my God, and I just grabbed it, just, because this is the way my brain works. And I don't know if it's the way your brain works. I see something available and I think to myself, if I don't buy that right now, in 1 month, it will be insanely rare and I'll never see it again.
Completely agree.
And every time, that never happens. It's always like re-released in 2 months or something. I have only a handful of Amiibo that are actually kind of hard to find and come by, because usually they end up re-releasing them anyway. But it's still that kind of psychological thing that makes you want to snatch it up and take it before anybody else can.
So as a fellow inbox collector, I need to pull one thing out of the closet here.
He's
pulled out a long time ago.
He's going for the closet.
I haven't got the opportunity to show this on stream yet, but this was released in Europe and in Japan, and this is the Champions 4-pack. The fact this wasn't released here destroys me. This is the best packaged Amiibo I think we've seen to date. And again, US Amiibo fans are just as rabid as anybody else, so I'm surprised Nintendo didn't double dip with these, because there's plenty of people like myself that would have bought this and the single packs and another 4 to open, because that's just the kind of sickness we have. So
it's really beautiful. The guy at Toys R Us, my friend, his name's Matt. Not Matt Brando, my buddy who's in my videos, but another guy who works at another friend of mine named Matt. He will often describe stories of people who are far more invested than you and I even, who will call and call and call and call and they'll show up, like, and they'll line up and they'll get mad, like really mad about like the stock issues and stuff. They'll just get really angry. And so I don't feel as bad because I want to collect them, because I treat the employees with respect. But there are a lot of people who just are like, where are my Amiibos? And it's like, oh, okay, back up.
The amount of people that assumed that Amiibo News was somehow incorporated with Nintendo of America blew my mind, because I would get close to death threats during like wave 3, wave 4. You must remember this, Ricky. Like, if I was 5 minutes late to getting like an in-stock alert out, like my inbox would be flooded with, you betrayed me, how could you do this? And I missed Greninja. It was 3 in the morning. I'm sorry.
No one can blame you. No one can blame you for that, but plenty of people did.
Many people did. The whole thing was a disaster, but now at least, again, we're coming to this point where I went to Toys R Us yesterday, far after the release of Wedding Mario, Wedding Peach, Wedding Bowser, far after the release of the Champions, and they're very well stocked. Like, they are all there for the picking. In fact, they had a buy one, get one 40% off sale, so if I would have waited, I could have got them even cheaper. So we're at this point where I still believe Amiibo have a place. They have a place at the Toys to Life table. In fact, they might have the only place left. But that being said, we are moving into this kind of drought, and I think Amiibo fans dread this consistently. We have seen Skylanders. We have seen Playmation, which nobody cared about in the first place. Disney Infinity, all crash and burn. Like all crash and burn in the past 2 years. And I think Amiibo fans are really nervous that's going to happen next. So I'm curious, both of you, your thoughts, number one, on the Amiibo drought, how you're going to handle it. We do have Shovel Knight coming out, and we do have the rarest of all in the form of the cereal box Amiibo coming out very soon too. So we have those, but besides that, we are completely in the dark about what's coming next. So let's start with Chris. So do you believe that Amiibo are going to start slowing down consistently, eventually coming to its end?
I mean, I feel like at some point it will, but I don't know. It's tough because I don't follow all of the numbers, but I could be wrong. But they're still fairly financially successful, right?
Yes.
I feel like
much more so than Skylanders were.
Yeah, I mean, they have Skylanders was such sort of it's popular, but it was also sort of niche in a way, like where you had to sort of like Skylanders to want Skylanders. For Nintendo. Sure. Like Amiibo just has like so many different characters, Fire Emblem, Pokemon, all the Nintendo classic characters. And so they have like this, and of course all the Smash characters, which are from all different types of places. So they have like this wide variety of characters that you can buy and tank your bank account with. And I feel like that's kind of going to keep them afloat for a lot longer. Of course, when we're all 70, I don't think we'll have Amiibo anymore. Just because
a sad thought.
That's how things go. But like, I feel like it'll still be around for a while. It's funny you mentioned the Amiibo drought, so to speak, as like a sad thing. And when you said it, I was like, oh, I don't have to worry about that for a while. Okay, that's cool. It's like I don't have to worry about like following the news and reading up on it. Will I have to go to Toys R Us this day to feed my addiction, or can I just be a normal person for a few months?
There's no fun in being a normal person for me. Like there's I'm the kind of crazy guy who misses waiting outside at 5 a.m. I've mentioned this on other newscasts. I've met some of my closest friends like waiting in line for Nintendo products. I met people that I still talk to this day that I was waiting in line at like 5 a.m. for, what was it, Jigglypuff at Target?
Wow.
So, I mean, that was like the heart of Wave 4. And it was something that brought like the diehard Nintendo like community together to like try to get these little toys. And again, I kind of miss it to a certain extent.
It's true. I mean, there are a lot of times where I've met really cool people waiting in line for various things. When I was at Star Wars Celebration, the one person I thought I'll try to get an autograph from was Mark Hamill, and ended up waiting in line for like 6 hours. And I met like some really cool people in line who had watched my channel and who were also in line, and we ended up talking for like 6 hours, and now we're Facebook friends and we chat all the time. So I mean, it's like, yeah, it's same, like I was talking about Black Friday with my friend Matt that I went to Black Friday shopping with. There's just something kind of I kind of incorporated, I think, with the holidays, where it just feels it's a corporate machine, and it's a bunch of sins against humanity, and it's merchandising at its worst. But there's something about it that makes me feel happy. I don't know, it's like this fun kind of vibe where you're like, I hope I get this one thing, and it's almost like a little, I don't know, like a little adventure or something, where the final goal is obtaining this thing that you want.
So we do have a supposed leaked, rumored Nintendo Direct coming in January. So let's close out this speculation section with a little Amiibo speculation. So if they do announce Amiibo in this coming Nintendo Direct in January, what would you like to see? Is there any character you think has been completely overlooked, or a character that you think was just underrepresented in Amiibo?
Oof. I'll let I need to think about that.
Ricky.
Yeah, sure. Well, I have one theory, though it's not like a new previously unrepresented character, and I think that we are going to see some kind of 20th anniversary Kirby Amiibo. Kirby's one of those series that got a whole line of Amiibo, and there's existing Kirby Amiibo thanks to Smash Bros. So they have like a basis for demand there, and Kirby stuff has been hitting the shelves really hard in Japan this entire year. I don't think they can afford to miss that chance. With the Switch like selling as it did, there's like a whole new market for Amiibo fans there too. So yeah, I think we're going to see something like that. I would really, really like to see the QB Amiibo come to the US. I'm still waiting on that one. But, man.
Yeah, $50 to import that thing still, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, for a game I can't even play on my US 3DS. But as far as new characters, Oh, okay. So I think, again, a series that we already have, but it's got to be a matter of time till we get Pearl and Marina.
That is my thought in January.
Yeah.
I think that's like the absolute given, a Marina and Pearl Amiibo. I can't see any situation where that doesn't happen, so I think that's a pretty solid call.
Definitely.
There's definitely something I'd like to see, but I don't know if there's, number one, the demand for it, or if Nintendo cares to. But one of the things that I liked that they did were these like the old school 8-bit style Amiibo. It would be kind of neat if, and I know that like the Polygon era is not regarded with the same level of esteem that the 8-bit era was, but it would be kind of cool if they had like a Super Mario 64 Amiibo that actually looked polygonal, like in the game. That'd be kind of neat. I think I would definitely buy that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm in
And
the same
like
boat as far as the 8-bit too.
every yeah, I was gonna say every Nintendo character had their kind of defining looks across all these eras. So there's definitely room there. Like I know I've mentioned an 8-bit Kirby before, but I would love to see like just almost go back to another, you could say another Smash line, but do it Smash 64. I
Oh,
think
that'd be
like
amazing.
that would like even though they weren't trophies back then, that would be where it all started, and I think that would be like a really really big nostalgia trip,
Mhm.
and it might capture that fire that we've been missing a little bit since the Smash line finished up.
I think as far as what I'm guessing we're going to see this year, or at least not this year, next year, a player 2 line over all of the Smash line, I think is inevitable.
Mhm.
I don't see why they would have come out with just the last 4 amiibo to get player 2s if they weren't going to do it for everything. I don't know when it's going to happen. I'm assuming it's going to be when they announce Smash for the Switch, which I would
Mhm.
guess is going to be announced sometime in 2018. A full-on 8-bit line would be amazing. Marina and Pearl, I think, are a given at pretty much any point now, but the one I'd like the most would be an 8-bit Samus, which would be incredibly
Yes.
ugly, but incredibly amazing.
I'd snatch that thing up.
Mhm.
But there's a lot of hope, at least coming into 2018, for some new things to come. I know people are shocked there's no Pokemon cards yet. There's no like official Pokemon amiibo line, which in my opinion would have printed money if they would have gone that route. If
Mhm.
they would have released like the starters for Sun and Moon, I think every person who bought that game would have bought those amiibo. I can't think of anybody who
Yes.
would not have. And then I think obviously the next end game would be if they create some sort of like TCG game for the Switch where you can tap your cards in with an amiibo card. So I think
Mhm.
that's going to be the next end game too. So I think there's room to explore as far as what we can have. I don't want more Animal Crossing amiibo cards though. Like for the love of God, please.
I didn't buy a single Animal Crossing amiibo. I only buy ones for games that I've played or characters that I like. Like I don't have all the Super Mario ones.
Mhm.
I have all the Smash ones and the Zelda ones and things like that. But I mean, no, I didn't buy a single Animal Crossing amiibo. I like Animal Crossing. I just was like, no, I don't need to do this.
I felt it was just out of pure obligation. Like I felt like I had no choice but to buy them. So
I wanted to buy them, so there. Like, I don't know. The Animal Crossing line is they're probably the least successful when I can see a Tom Nook on sale for like $2. That said, I'm really glad they made them. I want to see more, but I don't think there's much ground until we get some kind of Switch Animal Crossing. What's up, Nintendo?
soon and very soon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking soon. Let's move into the cereal because this is something I know everybody wanted to talk about from the beginning.
Delicious.
Delicious Super Mario cereal is coming to a store near you. The story behind this lasted for about 3 days. It was teased, it was leaked, it was found in a Target inventory system, and then it was finally announced. The story behind this is bizarre because for anybody who follows Amiibo News or Nintendo Wire, we get a lot of foot traffic on a daily basis for our stories. But the cereal story did better than anything we've seen in weeks. Like, people were over the moon with the fact that you can have an Amiibo built into a box, which is the most bizarre thing I think I've ever seen. It gives me hope that Nintendo might do this for other things, but for those of you unfamiliar, the leak essentially came from a cereal blog, which exists. I didn't know that there was blogs specifically for breakfast cereals, but hey,
There's one for everything, man.
there has to be. So the leak came there. Somebody said that it was coming, and they had a concept art of the box. After that, we had a listing in Target's inventory system. And then finally, after that, we finally had the official confirmation from Nintendo of America. What this thing has going for it is at the very back of the box, there is an Amiibo photo, a little picture of an Amiibo logo, and you can scan that into Super Mario Odyssey. If you tap it in, it says you've tapped in a delicious Amiibo, and it gives you, like, what, coins? A heart,
Yeah,
I think?
yeah. Kind of like the standard Amiibo functionality. I think it's nothing crazy. So if you want to see everything that you can get in Odyssey, you do not need to trample anyone for cereal. I can't stress that enough. But you won't ever hear Uncle Amiibo say delicious. So
That's true. Also, fun fact, they are currently on eBay for $40 a box.
Oh my god.
Not a joke. Also, the very, very talented Miss Gonda Chris, one of the most talented custom amiibo artists in the business, created a custom miniature Super Mario cereal scannable amiibo. So if you want to check that out, you can find that over on her Twitter account. I'll throw an image of that up on the screen at some point later in this broadcast. But this, for some reason, has won the hearts of Nintendo fans everywhere, and I am shaking my head because I don't understand.
Is there an official date yet for it, or no?
Early December.
Okay.
Supposedly, it's already shipping to stores. For anybody internationally watching this, it is not coming to Canada. It is not coming to the UK. So, very sorry. It is coming to the US. It's going to be $2.99 a box. And yes, it has the amiibo built right into it. It looks like Lucky Charms, more or less. So, I guarantee you there's going to be, the second this hits shelves, there's going to be 100 videos of people like doing unboxings and eating the cereal. I might do it. I don't know.
Sought after food product for food review channels.
It could be. I think it's for everything. It's, again, I was shocked at the amount of love this story got. I think at the end of the day, one of these got like 980 retweets in like a 24-hour period. The most comments we saw, and again, I was looking at the analytics on the site, and people were coming from all over the world like to look at this box of cereal. This is the world we live in. This is the amiibo game.
Honestly, I do kind of want to try it. I do.
Oh, no, I'm going to eat those up. I'm just upset that they didn't call them Super Marios. Like, I'm sure I'm not the only person who thought of that, but I'm just saying.
Good. You should be in the marketing department for Nintendo and their cereal now.
Call me, guys.
So So I guess at the end of the day, do you think we're going to see any other amiibo type ventures with any other companies? This gives me hope that Nintendo is going to work with McDonald's to do like an amiibo Happy Meal. Like, they're selling this thing for $3. So the amiibo like sticker that's like glued to the back of the box, I'm guessing cost them a dime to produce, if not less. So they could easily do this if they wanted to partner with somebody else. So I guess, is cereal going to be where it stops, or are we going to see anything else come?
Man, what would you do if you had to like import Japanese Happy Meal toys to have a full collection, Jason?
I've already done it. Are you kidding me?
I'm talking like Happy Meal toys.
I have imported Happy Meal toys from Japan.
But none of them are amiibo.
That's true.
Yet.
None of this is like bizarre to me. I have an absolutely ridiculously stupid Nintendo collection. Like,
my fear would be like, so let's say we decide we want to collect the cereal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, get a box. If it was available, we would get a box to like not open, and then a box to eat. So like in 50 years, when like rats are burrowing through our old Nintendo cereal box, like what will we do to ourselves when we discover that it's been destroyed and its worth is no longer exists?
So luckily for you, and this is not a joke, the company that grades sports memorabilia and cards, they also grade cereal boxes.
Oh, okay.
Somebody had the Pokemon cereal from 1999 preserved in an airtight, hard plastic case by this company. And I'm assuming that's what we're going to see with this.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing you should be able to do.
I had Indiana Jones cereal in 2008 when Kingdom of the Crystal Skull came out.
Yeah.
And I totally should have done that.
It belongs in a museum.
It does. Yeah, I should have done that. That's interesting. I've seen like the video game rated 9.5 from VGA or whatever. That's now it's worth all this money. So they do that for cereal. That's amazing.
So I'm assuming if you are the amiibo collector you say you are, that next time we do this, there's going to be a graded box of Super Mario cereal on that shelf. Well, that's the only way to go.
You're probably right.
So I'm planning on doing the same thing. I don't know if I'm going to get it graded. Like, I might. The whole thing is ridiculous in its own way. But again, I think the whole thing about this isn't that it's cereal. For me, it's that this opens up the door for Amiibo to be more than what it already is. So it's already been plushies, cards, and figures. People have made custom cards, custom amiibos, and now a cereal box. So I'm hoping this is going to be something that we're going to see moved into other territories at some point. What that could be, I have no idea. Again, I think the next logical step would be like a Happy Meal toy. So I think it would be like Teeny Beanie Babies all over again. If anybody's old enough to remember what that looked like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
So
I remember those.
Who knows? Again, these are going to be on shelves starting in early December. I have been checking local stock and nothing has come up as of yet today. But expect to see the very first unboxing and eating on Ricky's YouTube channel.
What?
I was assuming that was going to be you, that you were going to be the one doing this.
I'll start it up if you want me to. I'm going to trademark Cereal Wire tonight, man.
Please do.
Yeah, no, we got this.
So speaking of cereal, again, in Super Mario Odyssey, if you tap it in, you unlock a heart or a coin, and it shows you where a hidden moon is somewhere in the game. So it's pretty much identical to any other generic amiibo, except it's called a delicious amiibo. But that kind of brings us over to Super Mario Odyssey. It's been a few weeks since we've done a newscast. I want to check in with the team and with Chris to see how they have been liking Super Mario Odyssey so far, what they feel about it, and what they would like to see in any upcoming DLC that might come out to Super Mario Odyssey, or if they think DLC is even on the horizon. So, Ricky, I know you have spent more time than anybody on this game. How many moons do you have, sir?
All of them. I topped out at the 880 that are possible by collecting them from tasks. I didn't buy more moons than the standard one per kingdom.
You didn't get the secret ending then.
So I didn't.
Which I won't ruin here. I won't ruin.
Yeah. I'm gonna avoid any sort of spoilers if I can help it. It might. There's one little bit that I might, but it's. I spent a lot of time on this. I basically poured a week of my life into it. It was the perfect storm of having time off and like the chance to just completely devote myself to Super Mario Odyssey, and I do not regret that one bit. It's one of the most fun games I've played in a very long time, and I play a lot of fun games. Like, this is some of the most polished and well done stuff I've seen in a while. It feels fun, and that's like very lazy wording, but this is such a good game, man. Like, I know we all know it, but I love this game.
I feel like there's moments I hate this game, but it's not because it's bad.
Is it because of jump rope?
It's not quite jump rope. What's going on the screen right now with Jaxie? I hated many aspects of it, but it was fair. It was completely fair. So I hated it in the best possible way, because this game, once you get end game in Mario Odyssey, it opens up the doors to some truly aggravating, challenging things. And that's exactly what I'm looking for in like a Mario game. It's perfectly accessible to every group of people. Like my 4-year-old daughter can pick this game up and play it and find like the easy to find moons. And for me, I want to pull my hair out. Like the last level in this game, and again, I'm not going to give it up, like spoil any of that, was infuriating. I couldn't take it. So again, I think it has the perfect combination of like styles and like gameplay for pretty much anybody.
Yeah, I'm loving it so far. I have like 354 moons, I think, the last time I looked. Obviously, I beat the main storyline, like the easy part of it. And then you're absolutely right. As soon as I beat Bowser and I came back, there were all these new things to do. And the ones that really get me, and it's the same type of game level structure that I had a really hard time with in Galaxy, is when everything gets reversed and like you go and you're walking up and down. Yeah. There's a few. There's one specific moon in Mushroom Kingdom that's in one of the 8-bit parts where you have to do that, backwards. And it was like, honestly, like I had to stop. Like it took me like a day, honestly. Like I had to stop a few times and just put down my controller and be like, right, I'm. This isn't actually fun right now. I'm gonna go and take a minute. But honestly, probably the best Mario game maybe since 64. I mean, I love Galaxy. I even like Sunshine, but this this game, it's so much fun. And it's not just because it's a Mario game. It's just, it feels like it's a blend of everything they've ever gotten right. It has bits of Galaxy. It even has bits of Mario Sunshine, and obviously bits of 64, and of course all the 8-bit, parts. Just running around on the moon with low gravity is just like some of the most fun I've had in a game in a while.
That blew me away when I realized that they were actually like, okay, cool, I'm here, and then the physics are different. That was amazing, especially when we had something like Galaxy where they toyed with it a little bit, but this is like, oh man, it felt so cool.
Yeah, I'm having a great time with it, honestly. And the only thing, beyond like some of the aggravating things you have to do, the only thing that bugs me is I really cannot stand the fact that you can buy unlimited moons at shops.
Yeah.
Simply because I'm a completionist and I never feel like I'm done. Like I went to each kingdom and I bought a moon. And I was like, yeah, I did it. It was actually like a few days later that I realized you could buy multiple. And I was like, well, what's the point then? I mean, like, there was like a completionist vibe there for me, which I always appreciate, because apparently
at one point you have to buy more moons. You have to buy at least 100 extra moons, right, Ricky?
Yes, if you want to tap out the counter, I believe you need to get like 119 more.
And tapping out the counter gives you the bonus ending, right?
We're
not going to spoil.
Right. You get the bonus ending and another little something in one of the kingdoms, but nothing substantial. I think we're talking about the same things, but it's nothing substantial. It's nothing that I feel obligated to go out and do, because, and here's my little theory, and I've brought this up before with the rest of the team, and tying into, you mentioned DLC as something that we may see for Super Mario Odyssey. That was a lot of words that ended with C.
If Nintendo likes money, yes.
Yeah. I would love to see more kingdoms, and I'd love to see it where there's, across them, enough moons to tap out the counter naturally. Like, I don't know how that'll work with the ones that people have bought, what'll show on your counter or anything like that. But I'd love to see the natural count with DLC reach that threshold. The obvious one for me is I would love to see like the Sunshine Kingdom. I'd love to go back to Isle Delfino. And they have kind of the groundwork for flood controls in there with the Seaside Kingdom. It makes sense to me. That said, I don't know if there's enough demand for it. I know people were kind of clamoring for a Sunshine Wii U HD remaster when they were pumping those out. But at the same time, I don't know if there's much grounds for that on the Switch. But it's definitely like an idea. As far as like if they did new original kingdoms, I would love it, because all of these were fantastic. It's just a matter of, do they want to lean on brand new, or do they want to lean on nostalgia? Or maybe one of each. I don't know. But it would be great.
I would assume Luigi might make it as a character in DLC. Again, I think that would be the easy way to go.
Yes.
Same levels, slightly different moon placement, and then slightly different physics for how he moves and jumps. I'd buy it up in a heartbeat.
Luigi on the moon! Would be so... Oh, man!
The best jump of all time.
Yes!
So I would imagine that we're going to see something like that in, again, if we get the Direct in January, which we'll kind of touch base at the end of this. But again, I think this is nearly a perfect game. I am working on like a Zelda sleeve, like a tattoo sleeve. I got my first one already. Zelda is my jam. It always has been. Breath of the Wild was one of the best games I've ever played. I never thought I would say another game in 2017 could take Game of the Year, and Mario Odyssey did that. I love me Breath of the Wild, but this game transported me back to my parents' basement when I was 10, and no other game has done that, like, since. So, again, I love it. I think DLC would be great. I don't think it needs it. I think Kimishima is really pushing to bring in, like, money-making opportunities for Nintendo since Iwata passed. So, I am not shocked if that's going to happen. In fact, I'd be shocked if it didn't. So... Chris, anything that you would like to see in Mario Odyssey that's different, or anything that you would like them to add in a future DLC?
I actually totally agree. It'd be really nice to have an Isle Delfino land, just to hear like just to hear the theme. Great. But no, that'd be. I was one of the few. I guess not few, but I think the internet has made people think that Sunshine is just like awful, but there's quite a bit of people who really like it.
So good.
And it'd be great to see that. I also agree that it'd be nice if there was, and they're not going to do this, but it'd be nice if I just don't like the buy as many moons as possible thing. There's a way to kind of balance that out, and honestly, maybe even completely eliminate it if you, or at least choose to eliminate it, because it just feels strange to me. It's like, I'm so used to knowing what my goal is, or at least having a general idea of what the goal is. And if someone were to say there's 1,000 moons, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to go get them all. But it's kind of like, no, there's 800 something or other. And then you can also just like constantly buy them at a store, which is stupid to me. And it'd be nice if that was sort of more balanced. That's honestly my only thing I don't like about the game. Besides that, it's basically a perfect game to me. And strangely, I guess, is it really a flaw? Like, I mean, the store is like a thing you go into and you can buy stuff, and you buy it with game currency. You don't have to spend your actual money. So the actual game isn't really all that affected by it. So it's just sort of like a little nagging, pet peeve, really. The game's basically perfect.
Yeah, like nothing forces you to get those moons. That's what their very nature is. And to a point, I appreciate them being there for people that may want to reach a certain point and can't accomplish one of the tasks. I'm glad that there's a way that they can access it. I don't know if that's the best way, especially because I'm in that completionist mindset that you are, but it's still, there's a small silver lining to it being there, but I wish that, like, I'm still standing by what I hope is like a complete moon count via DLC.
I think we have very little time to wait. Again, it's been rumored for a long time before the leak that a Nintendo Direct is coming very early next year. So my guess is we're going to see something with that. Nintendo's not going to let their top-selling game, especially right after Christmas, go unspoken. So I'm expecting that. The only other thing that we have coming up this year is we do have DLC Pack 2 coming to Breath of the Wild. So that's another thing that we have at least to look forward to. It's story-based, so if you played DLC Pack 1, this is something completely different. Chris, I saw your Breath of the Wild review, and I know how much you absolutely loved the game.
Yeah.
How do you feel about adding new story content to a game that, at least in my opinion, I feel like the game ended in a way that was probably the most rewarding out of most Zelda games that I played? I feel like I got the most out of it. It had a concrete ending. Everybody was happy. Link's not turning back into a kid and like never seeing Zelda again.
Yeah.
So I felt good about it. So I'm curious to see what they're going to try to do with this.
I feel like if it doesn't, ruin or alter anything that's already established, and it's just sort of more fun in an already fantastic game, then I'm more than fine with it. Honestly, never really in my entire life have I ever played a new game and then put it down and was like, that's in my top 5 games of all time. And that's never happened to me, really. Usually it takes a few years to kind of be like, was that just a lot of fun? Or no, like that game is, it's mesmerizingly gigantic. I can't even begin to imagine just the man and woman hours that went into making this game, because you can walk around and discover something new, having done everything you think is there, and no, there's some other little thing you can do. And I've watched my wife play it, and she's taking a different route than me. Like, I was trying to beat the main story. She's trying to do all the side stuff first and then do the main stuff. And so I'm just watching hours and hours unfold in this game and new things constantly appearing. It's just baffling. So yeah, if they made something new, I feel like with the fact that they basically made one of the best games ever, it's probably going to be pretty great.
That's my hope. There's still some debate right now if this is post-game or pre-game content. Ricky, have you heard anything new on this one?
Not anything new, but I'm of the belief that it's going to be kind of like a prequel, or rather maybe like a side kind of story, but it definitely will happen before Link's adventure. And that comes down to the fact that how they set up that first initial trailer as this being kind of like sung or spoken of by Cass, who is kind of like, even though he's more of a minstrel, he's probably the best historian that we get in that entire game. That's kind of where I'm coming from. But as far as anything official on it being like on either end of the timeline, I'm not really sure.
So from the only thing that I think people are saying why they think it's post-game content, there was one clip of the DLC that was released by Nintendo Japan, and I think they showed the younger queen.
Oh,
Do you
okay.
remember what I'm talking about? The
Yeah,
queen?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Now that makes sense. Okay. Well, maybe it'll do both. Maybe because a big part of that game was how there's like descendants or successors of these champions in Link in the time that you're playing. So maybe we'll get it from the past and the present, or I guess in the future. But because honestly, both groups of characters are pretty likable. I know there's some that are more likable than others, but it's gonna be interesting where they go with that. I'm glad that it's gonna be story based. That's kind of the main thing here. Like it's just I don't know. I'm kind of expecting more history, but now that you mentioned that, it does make some sense.
So expect in the next 3 weeks this to drop. They did confirm it's coming out in December, so we have very little time to wait on that. This has been a crazy year to be a Nintendo fan. It's been probably the most expensive year I've ever had to be a fan of anything. With the Switch coming out, and I bought pretty much every first-party title, even one to Switch. I'm not sure why.
Hey man, I too. I'm right there with you.
You had to. It's a rite of passage. It had Nintendo on the box. I had to buy it. It's like when Pilot Wings came out for N64. Like, you have to get it. But that only leaves us with Xenoblade to talk about as far as games that have released recently. This came out just a few days ago. Ricky, I know you're in the middle of playing it too. You're past, what, Chapter 1?
Yeah, I've only put in a little bit of time to it. I got it late yesterday, and I'm like, it left a very good first impression. I can say that much.
So, did you play X?
No, actually, that one passed me by. It, gosh, what was it that something else came along at that point? I know I have a copy of it lying around somewhere. It's like that collector's curse. I got the collector's edition. It's like, yeah, I did it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and not touch that now.
On the shelf it goes.
Yeah. I did play the first one though. I did play some Chronicles, so I'm familiar with this, and that's kind of what it's taking more out of is from the original Wii release of Xenoblade Chronicles.
It feels a lot like Xenogears.
Yeah.
There is something about I hated Xenoblade Chronicles X. I hated it. I got a lot of flack from people on the team and in the community about my distaste for the game. There was something too gritty about it. I hated like the combat system. Everything just felt like not rushed, but I just felt like it was overly complicated for no good reason. And this is the complete opposite. I am in love with this game. It reminds me of when Final Fantasy VIII moved to Final Fantasy IX. It went from that gritty Final Fantasy, everybody is like they're real human beings with real problems, and then 9 took you back to this like whimsical, magical land. And I feel like that's what they did with this, and everything about it, from the soundtrack to the voice acting to the characters to the environments, everything is perfect so far. Again, I'm only like 6 hours in. They could kill it for me at some point, but so far it's great. So if anybody's on the fence with it, coming from a guy who wasn't a fan of the first one, or at least X, excuse me, it's pretty darn great.
And I really like that comparison actually, and that kind of captures where I'm coming from too. Now that it's kind of in my head, I can't really shake it. It's something about X. It felt more like an MMO, at least from every little bit of vibe that I got.
Good call.
And that's just not me. No hate or anything like that. It's not me. So to go back to more of like a, not exactly traditional, but a more, I guess, scaled back JRPG approach, I'm loving it. And there's a lot of cool stuff in there if you're a fan of that genre. A lot of the blades are done by artists who have a lot of experience with those games. Like there's some Tales of, there's some like various corners of Final Fantasy that are all getting not exactly represented by characters, but just the artists have contributed to it. So there's this cool feel there, and like Tetsuya Nomura did character designs for it. Yeah. So I'm really liking the direction that I'm getting from all of the assets, and the game's been like really good for me so far. I want to play more of it.
It's very Super Nintendo-ish as far as like an RPG goes. The story reminds me of like a classic Super Nintendo RPG, and not a lot of games really do that anymore. So again, I'm pretty darn excited about it. Chris, are you into, number one, have you played any of the Xenoblade games? And if you haven't, are you into RPGs as a whole?
I played the one that was on Wii U, and it's right over there. And it was called Xenoblade. What was it called?
Xenoblade
Chronicles
X.
X.
Yeah, I played it for maybe a few hours, and it just didn't really stick with me.
Yeah.
It was beautiful looking. It was like expansive, but there's something about like the whole turn-based thing that kind of it like, you know, I've never fully gotten used to it, and I still struggle with it from time to time. Is this game the similar? Like, you know, you each take a turn.
The combat system's real time in this, so you do, but it's overly complicated again, but not as much as it was with X. There's a lot to learn, and if you don't want to, it lets you take your time. But right off the bat, if you want to start doing like more advanced things, it gives you like the avenue to do that. But the nice thing about this game is with X, I got lost all the time. Like, where am I going? And this one, it doesn't hold your hand, but it's close. At least it says, this is where you're supposed to go. Here's your objective. Like, hit the R button and you're good to go. Like, it tells you exactly the direction you need to start heading. Cool. Thank God I need that.
That's like me. Like, when I play Resident Evil, any Resident Evil game, I walk into a room and there's like 3 doors and 2 of them are locked and 1 of them is unlocked. I'm like, I know where I'm going. And so I kind of, not that I'm like a really simple-minded gamer or anything, but I just like having a clear path.
Yeah. There's plenty of tutorials in this game. I did not expect to like this at all. I expected to hate it. But I have been pleasantly surprised. And they have given me the best darn controller to date. I love the design on this thing. And a fun fact, the D-pad is a upgrade from the D-pad on all of the other Pro controllers. It doesn't stick as much. It doesn't accidentally like press other buttons down. If you feel like the two, this one is superior. So they fixed something on this controller. I don't know what, but they fixed something. So it's something. I'm happy that this is the last game Nintendo gave us this year. And it really closes out an absolutely insane year for Nintendo. Gives me a lot of hope for 2018. Ricky, any closing thoughts on Xenoblade before we move into the final topic of the day?
I guess for me it would be, I would love to see some Amiibo for this game come down the line.
Yeah, what the heck is up with that?
Yeah, why no Rex and Pyra out of the gate? That'd be something I'd be interested in, especially with, it's from Smash, but we had Shulk, and Shulk was in high demand when he came out. So there's definitely fans there. And this, I mean, they've come a long way. They didn't have to Operation Rainfall anything to make this game release. So they clearly have faith in it. I'm thinking maybe down the line. That said, I don't know how long they can keep that interest. But we do have an expansion pass for it. We're going to be seeing more as this game develops in that respect. So who knows?
Okay, so as far as Amiibo goes, do you remember what Shulk did in Xenoblade Chronicles 3D?
Yeah, he made you disappointed.
Shulk is, and we voted on this, he was the worst Amiibo use in any game in Xenoblade Chronicles 3D. It was the worst, most afterthought use of an Amiibo. You tap it in the main menu, and it gives you 2 coins that you could use to buy concept art that you could unlock in the game anyway. You could get coins much easier than tapping the Amiibo. It was terrible. So again, they had a lot more time for this. I think with, when 3D came out, they're like, all the kids love the Amiibo. We got to put the Amiibo in there. And in this case, they could have done something cool. So maybe down the line.
Yeah.
But there you go. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is out now. It gets Ricky and mine our seal of approval. So if you were on the fence, go get it.
You made me interested in buying it, actually.
I would at least watch a couple gameplay videos on it. Okay. Even like the first 20 minutes, the story was captivating just from that. The voice acting, I love me a Cockney accent. There's plenty of them in this game.
Okay.
Finally, we're going to talk about the supposed Nintendo Direct that's coming in January. This was leaked by somebody at EA, supposedly. I believe somebody over at 4chan, which is obviously the best place for leaks, right? I mean, they're the most honest, never fake leaks, but this one looks legit. He somehow was on an email chain for some sort of EA development team, and this one came out, and they were talking about an upcoming game on the Switch called Fi. Is it Fi or Fi?
I've been saying "feh," so
Feh?
we basically have like a giant vocabulary thing going here with the whole fee fi fo fum stuff. I don't know, man.
Okay, let's go Fa.
You got it. I win.
Feh.
All right.
I hate that. So Fa
Yes.
is coming to the Switch. It looks outstanding, by the way. No matter what it's called, it looks great.
Yes.
EA, I think, is banking a lot on this game. So they sent out this timeline very similar to the Mario Rabbids timeline that came out. And on the timeline, we can see that in the January section, it says Nintendo Direct. It does say TBC. So it's not completely like concrete what the date is going to be. But they're supposedly going to be unveiling more of this game during that Nintendo Direct, which is exciting. But it's not going to be just an EA event if this is legit. It's going to be more than likely a full-fledged Nintendo Direct. So exciting. I think, again, everybody kind of knew this was coming. But again, it is a leak, so there's no way to really confirm these things until Nintendo decides to confirm it. So, Ricky, I know that you were skeptical on this one a little bit.
A little bit. It's just one of those things where when you see the notification about a singular title, you can't help but think like, well, I mean, why now? That said, it's coming from we don't have a lot of EA games that come out on the Switch, so I can see why, okay, it's talking about it. This is a new avenue for information. There's some sense there, but I also just generally take pretty much every leak with a grain of salt. Like, I've had too much Mother 3 disappointment to hang on to any little bit of hope that comes. So I would love a Nintendo Direct. I have a feeling that we will get one at the very beginning of the year. I just don't know if this is the proof of it, but hey, it's something.
Chris, have you heard of Fe or Fee or Fi?
This is my first experience hearing about the whatever it's called game.
It is. So I heard there was a lot of interesting things about this game. When it was first announced, was this announced initially for PlayStation 4, Xbox One?
I want to say it was like all platforms, like because we covered it on the day that it was announced. So at the least, it was announced for Switch right out of the gate. I don't think it's a Switch exclusive though.
So hopefully, if I put this up on the screen here real quick, this isn't going to be like monetized by EA. I wouldn't be shocked. I think they need the money right now.
Oh my god.
So real quick.
Did you get that video in a loot box?
I did. It took me 6 tries, but I got it. All right.
Right on.
So, Fa, or Fee, or Fa, I can't call it Fa, is this very whimsical looking adventure game. It goes with this very neon color structure, and it looks gorgeous. Games like this, I'm all about. But again, I don't really know a lot about it besides the visuals, and I know it's like you roam like these empty fields and countrysides, and you encounter monsters, and you try to get out. So, again, I think EA is really banking on this on the Switch because I think this is like the perfect game for the Switch. This is the kind of game I think that people have been buying like in drove. The indie invasion on the Switch is pretty crazy lately. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope it's legit, but again, take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, and I mean, I know from the press release, they were talking a lot about the sound design for the game, and that has me very interested. They're definitely trying to capture that you are in the woods, listen to it kind of feel. And there's a lot of grounds for that. Like, I mean, I love sound design from a lot of games. I want to say, what was it? Life is Strange had great sound design because a lot of it took place in like Pacific Northwest kind of territories. So in the outdoorsy scenes, there's a lot of kind of ambience, and I would love to have that in a game like almost devoted to it. And visually, it looks great. It seems, I mean, I love the color purple. That's a great palette. It would just be one of those things where I need to try it. I need to get a game like this in my hands because above and beyond, it is a game, and if I'm not having fun playing it, then what's the point? So, still, I am impressed so far.
Well, again, very little time to wait. This is supposedly happening the first week in January, from what I've heard. There was another leak, too, that we're not going to get into because we don't want to disappoint anybody with Mother 3 rumors. We've done it too many times lately, so I can't do it again. But that's going to wrap up the content we have for today. We covered Amiibo, we covered Mario Odyssey, we covered Mario Cereal, Xenoblade, and even Resident Evil Amiibo that they had in the works. Before we leave, Ricky, where can we find more information on you?
On me? Well,
on you. Yes, you.
You can find me on Nintendo Wire, of course, where I cover a wide array of topics, and you may look forward to a little something on Xenoblade from me in the near future too.
Well,
you can also find me on Twitter at Dr. Saturn NW. That's at Dr. Saturn, the letters NW. And if you like hearing about Kirby, you're going to like that Twitter channel.
It's very true.
It's
Some
very
might say you
true.
like Kirby too much.
I would call them right.
All right. I'm glad you could admit it. Chris Stuckmann, again, I want to give you an opportunity to tell people where they can find you, even though I'm sure most people already know. But before I do, again, I just want to thank you for coming on here. We've wanted to have you on for a while. And when I saw that you followed Amiibo News, I got incredibly excited to see that you were also a fan of Amiibo. So, Again, thank you for coming on, but where can we find you?
Oh, you're welcome. It was a pleasure, and I had a great time. It'd be fun to do this again. Big Nintendo fan, so it was like, this is not work. This is just fun. And find me YouTube, Chris Stuckmann is my channel name, and Twitter, Chris_Stuckmann. There's 2 N's. Can I share with you, before we go, something cool that I recently picked up for my collection? It's something kind of rare.
Yes.
Ooh.
This took me a while, but I have the Donkey Kong
Oh, nice.
Controller that was only given out to Nintendo Power fans.
Nice.
If you were like a subscriber to Nintendo Power back in the day, you got this. There's a lot of bootlegs of this where you took like a yellow controller and they painted. I inspected this extremely carefully. I didn't buy it online. I saw it like in the wild at an actual. This control stick has like literally never been used.
I was gonna ask. I need to see the stick.
Yeah, it's like it's never been used. So it was pretty. It was my wife's Christmas present because we were at a store and this was $125.
It's not
so
bad.
Yeah, like for something like that.
But still, we're trying to save money and be better people. So I was like, honey, you know how you were wondering like what I wanted for Christmas? Look at this thing. So that was cool.
Very nice.
Thank you very much.
Jealous
that you guys having me on. It was a lot of fun.
And again,
we loved having you.
If you're looking for his YouTube channel, you can find him. Is it just youtube.com/Chris Stuckmann?
You got it.
Awesome. Again, his
2
reviews
N's.
are amazing. And it's the way you present them, and I'm not trying to toot your horn here, it's the most entertaining movie review channel online. I would probably say you and Red Letter Media are my 2 go-tos anytime I want any information. You, if I'm looking for constructive criticism without like completely ripping people apart, and Red Letter Media when I just want to see somebody destroyed. So, but again, thank you very much. If you're looking for information on me, you can find me at nintendowire.com, Amiibo News on Twitter, at Ninwire for Nintendo Wire on Twitter, and my personal Twitter account at AmiiboJason. And if we are showing off, I do want to just say I did get one new thing for my Amiibo collection that I have yet to show anybody.
He's trying to one-up you. He's trying
to
one-up you.
This isn't a one-up. This is something I've wanted in my Amiibo collection for a while. I was planning on showing the community this for a bit, but I was able to finally get an Amiibo display that's fully functional. It's going to be going up on the wall very soon. It works great. I'm just waiting to get it unlocked. So,
you know what my ultimate goal is?
What is it?
The Nintendo 64 Blockbuster video kiosk that I told you about. I've seen them on eBay a few times. They're like $1,000 to $2,000 even. But if I had a working N64 kiosk, which I will have one day, and I will have to discuss where it goes in my house with my wife. But that's like my holy grail right there.
So where are you located, by the way? Or you don't even have to say this live, but the local game store by me has one of those for sale. They've had it for a while, and it's about $700.
That's good.
So if you're looking for details, I'll take some photos for you. But I'm in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, so I have no idea if that's worth the trip.
I'm in Ohio, like around Cleveland area. So that's definitely that's a stretch, but that is a really good price. We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it. Again, thank you for joining us, everybody, tonight. This is going to be up on the website and on iTunes very soon. Have a good night and a good morning, depending on when you're listening and or watching this, and we'll be back with another episode next week. Bye, guys.
Later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.